1983, another killer year in music. We are about to prove it. Do not go anywhere. All right, dude, 1983. As we go through our list, we go year by year through the 80s and start talking about this stuff. And I don't know, it doesn't cease to amaze me every time we do this, just how much killer music was in each and every year of the 80s.
I love it.
Man, I know.
The 80s just brings the biggest smile to my face, and it never fails. It never fails.
I'm telling you, dude. Oh. It's gratifying, and it's fun too to kind of discover this stuff. I don't know. There's just something about seeing like all the great stuff that came out of one single year, and we just keep repeating it over and over and over. And again, look, the 80s are our year, right? If you're 10 years older than us, you're probably going to be, you can probably do the same thing with the 70s. If you're 10 years younger, you probably do the same thing with 90s. I don't think so. I think the 80s were the greatest decade ever.
Right.
Hey, you do your thing. No, but anyway, yeah, so today, 1983, man, some killer stuff. So, yeah, man, let's just go through these, dude. This is so fun.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, this is the album I've shown more times in the VC than maybe any other album. And the big story, this is one time I'm going to take just a teeny bit of time, like 30 seconds, to tell a story about this album. I moved to a new neighborhood, new state, new side of town. I have new friends, and we have cable for the first time. I'm helping my mom clean. The TV is on, but the volume is off. All of a sudden, I see this dude on TV, and it's just like, holy cow, like, who is that? I can't hear anything. He looks just so freaking cool. I turn off the vacuum cleaner, go turn up the volume, and it ends up being the first video that I ever see on MTV. That was the day I discovered MTV. And that video was Eyes Without a Face by Billy Idol.
I knew it. Yes.
This will forever. This might be my most concrete album of all of the 80s. I'm not saying it's better than every other, album in the 80s, but this is the one that cements me in the 80s, I think, more so than any other album.
Yeah.
And after seeing that video, I told my mom, that's what I want for Christmas. That's what I want right there. And she bought me the cassette, and that was the first cassette I ever bought out of a store. I'm in 5th grade. It's the first cassette I ever got out of the store, and I still have that exact copy to this day. Like it started my entire new wave music world. So this is definitely on my list.
Hell yeah.
Man.
Dude, and I love that. I can't believe you still have the original cassette, dude. That is so cool. Yes. That is so cool.
Thing's been following me for 40 plus years, man.
Oh, I love that. How many of us just wish we still had that stuff, man? That is so cool.
Oh man.
I mean, yeah, that's a great pick, dude. That's a great pick. I love that album. So for me, we'll kick it off, and again, no order here really, but another great album to come out of that year, man, was Synchronicity.
Oh, yeah.
The Police, Synchronicity, and again, you go back to MTV, dude. Because when you start talking about, some of the tracks on here that are so good, even Synchronicity, I think, got a video, 1 or 2. I can't remember which version it was, but Every Breath You Take, Wrapped Around Your Finger. I mean, just the hits off here are super awesome and got a lot of MTV play. But this whole album is really cool, man. Yeah, another killer record, and this is one where I remember having picking up the singles collection right around that time of the Police and stuff. And the Police, it's a kind of interesting to think about that this was kind of the end for them, right? 1983, that was it,
Yeah.
So yeah. And so but this is such a great album, so yeah, we had to talk about that one.
Yeah, that's a must. All right, so moving right along, I think another one that made a huge splash, and that's the one thing I kind of saw with a lot of these albums, is there were some big albums and all of that, but it's almost really like there's there's one song on every album that just has to be stated just because it was that important to the 80s, even if that was the only single that that artist made.
Mhm.
And I think this is one of them. 99 Red Balloons or 99 Luft Balloons by Nena. Could you
Yes.
escape that in the 80s? I
Dude,
mean,
it's amazing how much of this influence is how much this stuff was influenced by MTV. It's like, and I think the same thing last
Mhm.
week, dude. It's just like you can picture these videos in your head, and that was
Yeah.
so huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like her just kind of walking through that what looked like some type of a land, not landfill, but like a mill or something like that. And they got all that fake smoke in the background. The thing I always remember most about this video is, you know, the way she did like her little two-step dance side to side, almost looking like what's his name from Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose.
Yeah.
But then the thing that always killed me too was the keyboard player and how he I guess he thought he was just like the sexiest thing in the world in this freaking video. Like he's playing this little keyboard riff, which is awesome, but he's just like puckering all up to the camera and everything. And I remember even as a kid, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? and watching it now, it just looks even worse. But it's part of what made the 80s fantastic.
I
Classic
mean,
riff. Yeah, the German version, the American version, just awesome.
the 80s, there was way more cheesy than cool. It was
Yes.
like there was so much cheesy. Um, that's a great pick, dude. I love that song. It's one that honestly it escapes me until you mention it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's such a
Mhm.
great one. And if you want to talk about the cheese from that video, how about just I think this video just was killer, really well done. And this is U2 Under a Blood Red Sky. And of course, Sunday
Mm,
Bloody Sunday was off of this. And
yes.
that was, I think, a lot of people getting introduced to U2 right around that time. And golly, dude, it's just Bono out there. And I don't know, is it a live performance or if that was staged? I think it was a live show, right?
Uh,
It looks like
yeah, I
it.
think it was live. Yeah,
In the
it,
sense
it,
that,
it
like,
always
it was like a concert, a real live concert.
right, right.
Um, but yeah, what a great one, dude. It's like the
Mm,
cold breath coming out of, and just, I don't
yeah.
know, the posing on the stage and just nailed it. Just nailed it. So yeah, but this is a great album too, man. Like it's got Gloria is such a great song on here. I Will Follow is on here. Sunday Bloody
Oh
Sunday.
yeah.
New Year's Day is on here. Like this is a great
Jeez.
freaking album, man. Um, so yeah, Under a Blood Red Sky, man. U2. And again, I'm so much of this stuff was I introduced to by MTV. Thank you, MTV. And
Hmm.
U2 was another one, man, with Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny you say introduced by MTV. The second video that came on after Eyes Without a Face that first time was With
Uh,
or Without You by U2.
oh, nice. Oh yeah.
Jeez. That was a good day. All right. Next up, let's just jump right to it. Naked Eyes. You
Nice.
know, but another one of my go-tos. I mean, the song Always Something There to Remind Me was definitely a big hit. It wasn't my absolute favorite, but it was like total complete 80s and it was a hit and it was catching the whole nine. But the song Promises,
Mm,
that is just always the jam off of this that again kind of shows the beauty of the 80s to me. And I love the fact that as new wave and everything as that song is, the more I listen to it over the years, I find all of this like this hidden funk and hidden groove inside of it.
mhm.
Um, that I think doesn't quite stand out as much because it is putting forth a new wave vibe. But you're just like, dude, there was somebody who was writing and playing on the back end of that had a bunch of James Brown records in their freaking collection at home or, Parliament or whatever else, because there is just so much funk hidden and driven into that particular song. But just another one of those groups that, again, just totally capitalized on the 80s sound and still to this day, one of my favorites to spin. So that's Naked
Well,
Eyes.
mental note, I need a copy of that. So if you get
That's
one in the store, find out. Um,
noted.
Always Something There to Remind Me.
Mhm,
Promises, Promises is one I've come to appreciate more recently, but, or late, whatever,
mhm,
since 1983, but Always Something There to Remind Me was such kind of a deep, important song for me at that time. Just so much is connected to things that were going on in my life and stuff, but something about the
mhm,
way that that song is like, there's a lot going on in it with like those bell sounds, and
mhm.
stuff, and just it was
Yep,
just it felt like a big song, like an orchestrated song, and it was just like, oh, just and the drum beats and everything, the thing that I don't know. I
yeah,
freaking love that, dude. So yeah, now you're reminding me I need that
yeah.
record. Well, we might as well keep going to that MTV well. And here's Def Leppard Pyromania.
Oh.
I mean, this is how I was again, I might as well not even say it, but I first shook hands with Def Leppard right here. And I mean, Photograph, Fullin', God, it just those songs will be with me forever. It's why Pyromania is probably my second favorite rock album of the 80s, 1984 being the first one. And yeah, it's just phenomenal, dude. And just the era and those guys. And again, on MTV, looking at Photograph and stuff like that and seeing those guys with that might be the real kind of first time where I was like consciously being like, okay, I could be a rocker, maybe I could grow my hair out a little bit. I never did. I was way more a new waver than a rocker, but yeah, Def Leppard, dude.
That's
So yeah, Pyromania, great album to come out of there.
yeah, that's a fantastic one. Uh, all right, the next one here, definitely one of the bands that owned the 80s. And even if the rest of the album suck, just even the opening track off of this makes it one where you have to acknowledge its greatness for 1983.
Oh yeah.
Duran, baby. The Reflex. Like, I mean, just it's just one of those songs you put on and there's nothing you can do but think, smell, and experience flashbacks from the 80s. It's just so it so captures what was so much fun and so energetic about it. Um, and again, it's one of those songs where I think like the longer you're listening to music and you become more, I'm not gonna say in depth or anything, but you just hear more styles of music and you start to pick up on things. That's one where when I go back into it, it's almost like every time I hear so many new things that did I hear that before? Did I not know? And creative song, kind anytime you put kind of a stuttering thing in a song, it seems to always make the song kind of very memorable and that type of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and the bass work, I mean, like, the bass work in that is just phenomenal. It's just such a groove of an album. But yeah, this was just, Duran trucking along in the 80s doing all the amazing stuff they did. So
I mean, yeah, if you were there, you probably loved the music when it was coming out, but there was a long period of time where like Duran to me was just like another band, and stuff.
mm,
And then as I started to get these, kind of rebuild my collection and listen to revisit it now, it's like I start to really appreciate Duran. A lot more sophisticated than I gave them credit for, or that you can really
yes.
appreciate maybe when you're younger.
Yep.
But
Yep.
oh my gosh, dude, they're just so freaking good.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's harder to appreciate them when you're younger, but as you grow, you realize that wasn't just one more little pop song that was slapped together at all.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
I really do put them at the top of the list when it comes to that stuff, and
Mhm.
again, surprising because the music was fun, the videos were fun, and all that stuff to sing and everything. But then you go back, now in 2025 as an adult, and it's just like, holy cow, man, they were slaying it out. Um,
Yeah.
okay, let's see. Again, I'm gonna sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but or a broken record. But how about Cyndi Lauper? She's
Oh,
so unusual. Another massive 83 album. Love that cover. Girls Just Want to Have Fun, the massive hit off this, but Time After Time, She Bop, a few pretty big hits on here. And of course, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, just a massive hit, a massive tons of play on MTV. And you really get to and she is such a fun like persona, character, or whatever you want to say, that she was just one of those that really stood out, and there's like the Michael Jacksons and the Princes and the maybe a couple handful of people that were really iconic just as I don't know, just their visual appearance just made you feel like they were a character kind of. She was one of
Mhm.
those, and stuff. And so just really fun stuff. So yeah, she's so unusual.
Yeah.
Lauper.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely one of the top 3 of yeah, definitely at least the top 3 of '83. I mean, it's one of those ones where, like you were saying, you're naming off like the songs that were hits, like Girls Just Want to Have Fun and Time After Time. I guess She Bop was kind of, a hit that got radio play, but like even diving into Money Changes Everything or like All Through the Night or
Oh yeah.
Witness, songs that didn't even necessarily make it out of the album, so to speak, but they're still just all fantastic 80s energy to them. And the way Cyndi could sing so high that kept it kind of 80s playful, but at the same time her voice was so powerful that something serious was kind of going on. I mean, she was just fantastic. That album is amazing.
You nailed it. She has this. Well, it's funny. I was going to say unusual. That they sound like cheesy, but an unusual sort of range. The quality of her voice was fun and cute and all that stuff, but she also had a lot of power and like she had
Right.
some chops, and so it was kind of like that combination that was just really made her stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, great pick, man. That definitely goes on my list. And the next one, again, this is the kind of year you were having. So like, some point in time, Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual comes out, Duran, and then Bowie's like, let me go ahead and jump into this scene. And Let's Dance by David Bowie. Again, is just another one of those fantastic songs that just so defines the time. And in that one that Nile Rodgers did with him, I think
so. He played bass on it or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so. And
Yeah.
you totally hear it in that groove. And the video was very creative, and yeah, just another one of those albums that I really think kind of maybe coming out of the '70s. I think maybe I'm not gonna say hardcore, but more deeper, serious Bowie fans knew about Bowie. With Low, maybe Ziggy Stardust and stuff like that. But I think that it was like this is really kind of what put him back in the mainstream and threw him on MTV, and those that maybe never really got into all of the Ziggy stuff and all of that, all of a sudden knew exactly who David Bowie was. And then, China Girl and everything else in the '80s that started to happen. Just really, really awesome album.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the incredible thing about this year is just how much, again, it's repeating myself, but just how MTV really influenced so much. But you're right. It's like not just bringing new people to the forefront or people that maybe had put out a couple of records, but really took off when MTV came, but even people that had long careers already, like a Bowie, and then MTV hits, and it was like this whole new life for him.
Yeah. What's next?
Next one I got, and these are my guys, man. A little Journey right here, and Frontiers was the album that came out. Not my favorite Journey album. I do like it. It's very nostalgic, and of course, Separate Ways is kind of the big one. Also the one that got the that is the one that has kind of the cheesy video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one where, and not even the band members could like keep a straight face. If you watch that video, what are we doing right now? So much of that in the '80s, but I think this one's actually been like either nominated or won some kind of official or unofficial award for being the worst MTV video ever. And it's hard to argue that. And even the song, I don't know, maybe because I pair it with the video, it's a little bit cheesy, but it also has Send Her My Love on it, which is an awesome song. And there's a lot of cool stuff on here, actually. I love the cover. So 83, 82 is when Tron came out, if I'm not mistaken. And Journey had a couple tracks on that soundtrack. And interesting that when 83 comes out, they do this cover, right? Which is kind of, I don't know, kind of Tron-y, I think, in terms of like the blue glow and stuff. So I kind of think about Tron when I look at that record cover too. But Anyway, Frontiers, Journey, 1983, man. Love it or hate it. It's definitely iconic.
Yeah, I definitely love it, man. And yeah, that video, it was cheesy, but I mean, thank goodness the song was so amazing because it still makes you go back and watch it. Because the director is kind of like looking in the camera going, did he just play air keyboard? it's, it's like, has
Exactly.
anyone? It's like, really? But yeah,
Exactly.
I'm a fan. I love it. Excuse me. All right, so the next one here is again, I think another one of those albums where you have to give credit to. It's not my favorite album by this artist, but it is one that definitely kind of defined itself throughout the 80s. And Innocent Man by Billy Joel. I think the same thing. Someone that had an amazing career, and there was a lot of stuff off of here that kind of gave him a foot into MTV. You know,
Mhm.
So of course, you have like the title track, Innocent Man, and of course, For the Longest Time, which was, played on repeat all day long on MTV.
Mhm.
Uptown Girl, that was played on repeat. And then, just kind of like great old school Billy Joel type of songs like Keeping the Faith. Just kind of going back to that old bebop rock type of thing. And it was just kind of nice that flavor was still just kind of out there for people to enjoy. And I'm sure a lot of people that maybe didn't listen to that music, kind of hearing that style on MTV for the first time. So, yeah, so another great one and definitely worthy of being mentioned for amazing albums that came out in 83.
Yeah, Uptown Girl was so huge, and I think a lot of us loved that, and of course, Christy Brinkley is in that, right? Yeah, with Christy Brinkley and everything, man, it's like because she was also, like, now correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think she made a cameo in, like, Vacation or something like that too. It's interesting back at that time, and we actually did a video on it early on about, like, the models, back in the day, and I know you had some
Uh-huh.
posters, I had some posters.
Oh yeah.
But, anyway,
Yeah.
so Christy Brinkley, she's a name that everyone knew, from being a model and then, being on television, doing commercials, and then Billy Joel, of course, she went on to marry and being in that video. So anyway, I'm dragging this on way longer than I need to, but that was kind of the thing with the Uptown Girl was it wasn't just about Billy and how catchy that song was. It was like the persona of Christy was there too, and so it was like this added thing.
Yeah, and I feel like we're going to keep repeating this, but it is just kind of what it is. I think that's the thing that MTV really brought to the table was the ability for artists to kind of add all of that imagery to music that people were just kind of used to listening to on the radio or their turntables or cassette tapes or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's you don't quite have that same thing anymore because if you think about like Tawny Katane might be a great example. The all the White Snake videos, the girls sliding all around the car and everything else, or the Rat album covers. It's like I've always honestly said if the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted Tawny Katane into it, I would think that's a legitimate move because
Yeah.
to say that like she didn't have that level of impact on rock and roll and the imagery and every girl ever associated with modeling in rock music or pop music saw her as the icon, which she was. I mean, it was just something else that MTV was bringing to the table that music hadn't really experienced on that level to the masses.
Yeah.
You
100%.
know?
Yeah, it's interesting with MTV, man. Love it or hate it, it wasn't always doing the right thing and it broke down at one point and just but there was that window where for people like us that would, watch that stuff. It was so influential, man. It was just so influential. So miss those days. Um yeah, again, another great one, man. And this one is like from cover to cover, such a great album. And it's Sports, Huey Lewis
Oh
and
yeah.
the News. And it's just a fantastic album. And again, another one because at this point I don't know if Back to the Future probably came out the year after this came out. But it's hard for me to see Huey and not think about Back to the Future. So it's interesting how some of these, like with Journey being tied to Tron and these, just I don't know.
Mhm.
There's just all these layers and stuff. But what a great album, man. Heart of Rock and Roll, Heart and Soul, Bad is Bad. I Want a New Drug, just a massive hit.
Mhm.
If This Is It. Just just tons of great stuff. So again, I don't know how many, and of course, I think Huey's style was a little different before this album came out. It's like perfect time to do it when MTV was just coming along. And again, catapulted this Bay Area band, by the way, from San Francisco, catapulted them into the next stratosphere. So yeah, Huey Lewis Sports, man, love that one.
Yeah, Heart and Soul is my jam off of that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
All right, what am I going to pick this time? I just have like a big stack of random ones here because I didn't know which ones to actually sort out. But again, I think this is one that just based on this one hit alone, it's definitely worth, even though there's other good songs on the album. But I mean, Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart is something that defines the 80s as a whole. So it's definitely going to be something I think that defines 1983 as well. Again, I think everyone's heard that song. You probably don't want to hear it again for the rest of your life, but you'll sing along to it when it does pop out. And that's one of those songs I really wish I could go back and hear for the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth time kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's almost like some of that kind of like some of that Meatloaf stuff that it's kind of different. There's like a theatrical thing to it and all of that, and it'd just be cool to be able to hear it again for the first time where it's not something that's been just totally burnt out and seared in your mind after 40 years. But yeah, I'll give Bonnie the nod and throw her into the 83 pile there.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm backing you up 100%. Dude, that song was so huge, man. Super important song to 1983.
So,
so here's one I probably actually might be one of my favorite albums out of 1983, and yet I didn't really catch it at the time. But we got a little B-52s and we got Whammy right there. And dude, I mean, anytime I show this, if you watch any of my videos, you guys know I have a deep love for this album and the B-52s in general. But I mean, I think Legal Tender was kind of more of a radio hit. I don't know how much. I don't remember seeing the B-52s a lot on MTV during this era. Maybe a little bit later and stuff like that. But maybe they were. I don't know. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't as mainstream, I guess. But because I know they have some videos for this, maybe at least one. But yeah. Anyway, cover to cover, I love this. I fell in love with it. I probably picked this up a couple of years after it came out on vinyl, and I just would wear the grooves out of it. I loved it so much. So yeah, B-52's Whammy, man, right there. Just this, and this again, in retrospect, this is probably, if not my favorite, maybe top 2 or 3 to come out of 83.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's your rebel yell, right?
It is actually, yeah, you're right.
Now, my next one here, I don't know if this actually should count or not, because this is not an album that I knew in any way, shape, or form in 1983. Like, this is an album that over the last 10 years has arguably become my favorite album by this band that has tons of albums out. And it's Seance by The Church.
Ooh.
And yeah, like any of you guys that have watched my What's Been Spinning videos, where every couple of weeks I just kind of share what I've been listening to that week, that mean no exaggeration, over the past year or two, you've seen this pop up at least 3 or 4 times. I've spun this album so much. And and yeah, I mean, I don't know kind of what else to say about it. It's a Church album. It's like I always like to say, if you've heard one Church album, you've pretty much heard all Church albums, because I mean, they were putting stuff back out in the early 80s. They're still putting stuff out in, like, the newest album came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or something like that. And like throughout all this time, they've been dropping album after album after album after album. It just kind of goes under the radar a little bit unless you're actually following them. But when you listen to every one, they're just kind of like, we're not going to change what we're doing. This has been working for 40 years. We're going to keep doing it for the next 40 years if we can. And this is kind of the same thing. It's that perfect mixture between like mellow but somewhat heavy synth and that very, very deep monotone new wave British invasion type of vocals. And it comes together in a perfect beautiful thing on this album. And if you haven't heard anything else off of it, the song Fly, which is the opening song, is fantastic. It's only like a couple minutes long, but It's No Reason, that is a song I just go back to over and over. And it's like when I listen to that song and it goes into the chorus and between the vocal delivery and the synth groove that goes through the chorus, it's almost like emotionally overwhelming for me to go through and listen and hear that piece of music. And the album just keeps getting stronger and stronger for me. And so
I love
like I
that
said,
cover.
isn't it cool? Cool as can be, man.
That's as gothic as it gets
Awesome
right there.
album.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know the church had just kept plugging along even till now. I mean, I think I kind of started to forget about the church right into the like late 80s and like a lot of this, honestly. But yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Definitely
great album.
I'll have to check that one out. All right, so we kind of been all over the place with MTV, and how about a person that really not only is one of the most iconic artists of all time to this day, and but really kind of started with the MTV generation. That's going to be Madonna. And here we got a little, the self-titled Madonna. This might have another title actually. I don't remember what it is. I'm spacing out on it, but I mean, this is the one, dude. Lucky Star, Borderline, those big hits, Holiday. Just, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is Madonna. Just look at those bracelets, look at that hair, those chains, I mean, it was just my girlfriend at the time, and I say girlfriend, I mean, but whatever, only in title, wasn't like, but she loved Madonna, man, and she wore the bracelets and all that stuff, and so yeah, man. Just, she really got kicked off, into the mainstream. Immediately, everyone knew who she was. And yeah, so huge year for MTV, as it turns out, 1983, man.
Back when she was normal and great.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right, what am I going to go with next here? I still have so many. How about this one? Because this is another one that I think fits in well with the whole MTV thing. Big Country, The Crossing, and of course, the gigantic hit off of this that just made the splash was the title track in a Big Country. I mean, again, it's another one of those videos that was just played over and over and over on MTV, and kind of one that was a little cheap, but it was also a little cool. Like between the band playing on the stage and them acting like they're climbing down the mountain to save the girl and like rappelling and all that kind of stuff, and done cheaply but kind of a neat concept. It just screams 80s every time you watch it. But yeah, just I mean, another really, really good album. I mean, I wish we would have got a few more by then, but I think what's his name did end up committing the lead singer ended up committing suicide at not too long after this, if I recall. I don't remember exactly, but I know he did, which was kind of messed up. But yeah, another great one from the 80s there that everybody's heard it, and love it or hate it, it's a staple.
Yeah, that's such a great tune, man. God, it's so weird, man. Just all the memories come flooding back, dude, every time we do these. It's another one. Yeah, that's a great pick, dude. That's a great pick. All right, next up for me is going to be a little Pointer Sisters, and we got Breakout. And damn, dude, I don't know. I feel like, again, I know I've said it over and over. I mean, obviously Jump, and I'm so excited. If you were there, those were the songs. Everyone knew they were in the mainstream and all that stuff. But there were songs like Neutron Dance and Automatic, which I elevate even more so. Maybe just because they're not as played out. But dude, they're just good. I mean, every time I want to groove, dude, whoever was performing whoever programmed the drum machines and the bass and guitar or whatever, and I'm looking at their names right here actually, but I don't recognize who they are. But man, dude, they just killed it on this album. They just killed it. They did such a great job. So Pointer Sisters, Breakout, another one, dude, had a long career before they got to this album and MTV, and then even into like movie soundtracks and stuff with it.
Yep.
And good for them, man, because this is a killer album.
All right. Another one here that I may honestly say might be making it more off of one song than the entire album, even though, again, the entire album is the whole fun 80s thing. But I mean, can you say 80s without talking about Men Without Hats?
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
the everlasting Safety Dance.
Yes.
I mean, fun song, fun video, and just another one of those great examples of you don't have to take yourself serious. You can just, the synth, these lyrics, this storytelling, like all the stuff of the 80s is you can just have fun with it. And that was another one of those songs I think that really personified that whole thing. Even the video, like, with the little person and them going through all the villages and all of that. And every time I hear that song too, you remember pop-up videos? I think it was on was it VH1 that did pop-up videos?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was VH1 where they would play the video, and like while it was playing, these little pop-ups would come up with just random facts, about whatever it might be, something that was here, or this person did this, and I remember when they were playing this one, like there's this scene where they're dancing, and it goes like 16th century telephone pole. So there was like this telephone pole in the background with like all these wires going across it. They're supposed to be like way back in so every time I hear that song now, I always think about this. Like, yeah, see, that's where the flagpole was right there. That's where the flagpole was right there. So funny, but yeah, another great one. And again, there wasn't really any gigantic hits off of that, but after Safety Dance, they really didn't need more to make their stamp in the 80s. So
that's such a great one, dude.
That's a fun one.
All you gotta do is write a song about dancing and you'll live forever because you'll be played at every wedding until the end of time, dude.
Yeah.
That's a great one, dude. That's a great one. Well, I picked 10, so this is my number 10 right here. So I'm gonna be done after this, but I know you still got some. So let's definitely go through the rest of yours up once I'm done here.
Okay.
So Little Boy George, man. How can we talk about 83 without talking about Boy George? And we got Color by Numbers here. Karma Chameleon, It's a Miracle. Those were two just massive hits, man. And Boy George was huger than I think we want to remember at that time. He was huge. Mm-hmm. And this was such a cool ride. And the stuff was just fun. Very fun. Another character, another one like I was talking about Cyndi Lauper and MJ and Prince and all that. Boy George, same way, was really, and Madonna, creating his own look and like really kind of, a lot of the 80s was about drawing attention to yourself if you could.
Right.
And he managed to do that. And so very iconic. But yeah, had to do a culture club right there. Color by Numbers. This was a big album in 83, man. So yeah, I had to remember Little Boy George.
That's a fantastic one. And again, the way memories are seared, it's like, here's the gymnasium. There's two doors that go out of the gymnasium. There's a little hallway in between the two doors. In between that hallway, after PE class, I'm telling Corey, what are you talking about? Boy George is not a dude. It's a girl. that was the day that Corey told me that is a dude. Like, Boy George is not a dude. What are you talking about?
Well, and then like and I don't know if they made as much of a war out of it as the media did, but maybe they did. Is like Pete Burns from Dead or Alive, who was also a man that dressed like a woman. And Boy George sort of had this thing where they would sort of you see interviews of each of them and they would kind of cut into each other a little bit. I think Pete Burns more so. I don't think Pete Burns liked being compared to Boy George. I think Pete Burns considered his music to be a little, I don't know, a little harder, more masculine and stuff like that. So but yeah, and I guess eventually maybe they made up a little bit. Pete Burns, of course, rest in peace and all that stuff. But yeah, they were kind of the two from that era, two dudes. I'll be honest, man, I had no problem with it. I had a poster of Pete Burns looking just like a woman hanging up in my bedroom. And I mean, it was one of those big ones, dude. Like I said, dude, right around that time when I was a big Adam Ant fan, and stuff, and I was probably trying to figure out what direction I was going to go. I'm straight, whatever. But I'm
Mhm.
saying at that time, I was, hey, I was touch and go. It was touch and go, man. Look, we had Steve Burns, we had Adam Ant, we had some sexy fools out there. So anyway, but
That's
yeah,
hilarious. Yeah, and that was the cool thing about Boy George too, is I think he played it just right. Because even though you may have gotten that impression or thinking he was a girl or whatever else, it was like he's not wearing dresses and heels.
right.
You know what I mean? It was more like it's more like a dashiki or Middle Eastern type of dress slash garb or whatever. And of course, like the colorfulness and makeup and blah blah blah. But it really was like he was just kind of creating his own thing that he just kind of felt like this is me.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It was kind of cool. I think in that.
It's so great that the 80s, when I think back at it, it was kind of really that first era of people sort of uh breaking barriers or whatever you want to say, things that were heavily criticized and not even, it could be dangerous, looking a certain way and stuff like that. But with the 80s, it was just like, hey man, we're gonna let it all out, hang out, and just people, the confidence and the defiance, which maybe started with punk in the late 70s. I don't know,
Mhm.
but whatever that was that kind of came into the 80s is freaking great, man, because it was like there was just, let people be who they are. And the pendulum was swinging at the opposite way during the 80s, which is, I think, part of what we love so much about it is that it was such a colorful, sometimes flamboyant, just diverse era, and stuff. And yeah, it was just great.
Yeah, and from like that on screen type of thing. I mean, you had the legends like the New York Dolls, and people that were kind of doing
Yeah.
that. But when you think about those that were actually in the mainstream, like Boy George and stuff like that, like I feel it's important to give those guys credit to say, like, would glam and hair metal gone to where it went if people like Boy George hadn't kind of showed it was okay, or it's something that could be pulled off? Um, on again on a mainstream level, because David Bowie was doing that kind of stuff before, but he wasn't doing that so much when he was actually on MTV, like in the Let's Dance era. He was more clean cut Bowie. He wasn't Ziggy Bowie. And like I said, the New York Dolls weren't getting rotation, so it really was the guys like Burns and Boy George and people like that were actually paving the way to say you can put on more mascara than your mom wore in a week and be on MTV and still be like, everyone's like, you're cool as heck, you know?
I love that you said that because you're right. Glam and was so massive, and it was like, yeah, I'd say normalized. I don't know if that's the right word, but a way, yeah, it did normal. It took, which maybe when we saw Bowie, and this before my time, I guess, really, I wasn't really following Bowie at that time, but it was probably more shocking. And then the 80s come and it's like everyone's doing it just about. It's like it
Mm-hmm.
normalizes it and you start to see through it as not being a big deal, which is like,
Yeah,
it's great. So
that's pretty cool. All right, so one more for me. Which one am I going to go with here? How about let's do this one, because I think this is another band that always deserves its place in the 80s, even if this album wasn't as big and as well known to everyone in the 80s. But this is a New Order. This is their release from, of course, 1983. And I don't know, maybe like song for song, not their absolute best album across the board, but I had to pull this one out just because of the song "Age of Consent."
mm,
That's one of those songs that is, if I want to just lay back and if whatever images and feelings I have in my head about what the '80s were, they're put into lyrics and musical notes inside of that song. It's one of those songs that just totally captures the spirit of new wave 80s. And I guess that's the kind of best way I can describe it. So for me, I like pulling this out just because it kind of defines the pinnacle of 80s sound, in my opinion, on that particular song.
yeah, that's a great one. Ah, man, I'm glad New Order's getting some love. Yeah, Power, Corruption, and Lies. Yeah, I don't know. When I think about New Order, and I don't have like a New Order collection, but I do have the album Substance, which is like the
Oh yeah.
singles or many of the singles. or the A sides, I guess. But when I think about New Order, that's what I think of. I think of their singles. Like they wrote some great hits. They had some great stuff. It all kind of got put onto Substance when that album came out. But yeah, I've not been. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that yeah, it's kind of hit or miss on their albums. Someone would have to tell me in the comment section if there's like, no, you're missing the boat on this New Order album, because to me it's really just about those hits and stuff, and they kind of all culminated onto Substance, which is fantastic. But otherwise, it's kind of hit or miss, I think, at least in my opinion.
Yeah,
but the one you
Substance is just
so good. Whew. Yeah,
really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So I just kind of pulled stuff without flashing. So I'll just flash these, or without counting. I'm sorry. I pulled stuff without necessarily counting. So I'll just flash the ones I didn't get to here. M to Me, Juicy Fruit, my jam.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And kind of on those same lines, for some reason, I thought you might end up pulling this one. Rhythm of the Night, El DeBarge, or DeBarge.
I love that album too. Both of those albums, those are I'm glad you pulled those, man. Those are classic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just more of that great fun stuff with some of the absolute worst haircuts. Oh my god, like what were they thinking?
It's like the wind is blowing on one guy's hair, but then the other guy's hair is perfectly still. Like, how is that possible?
So it's just the fun of the 80s.
Oh yeah.
And another one I was kind of surprised maybe didn't end up on your list too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Construction Time. Another great one there. It's like what, four more here. Wham. You know, everyone kind of remembers, you know, Wake Me Up Before You Go, and all of that. Yeah. But you know, kind of before they hit that status, they were trying to be kind of the tough guys here, and this was kind of my intro to Wham, you know, with the song Bad Boys. I used to love that video. Great song.
Oh, yeah.
ZZ Top.
Nice. Oh, dude.
That was
talking about MTV, dude. The long and iconic beards and all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Give Me All Your Lovin' and Legs and Sharp Dressed Man. I mean, yeah, that's
killer.
The Romantics in Heat. Great band right here. And of course, you remember Talking in Your Sleep.
Oh, there we go. I was trying to remember. Oh, I love that song. I was trying to remember what they did.
And then is it on this one or the other? No, I was gonna say What I Like About You, but it's not on this album, it's on their other album. But yes, I mean they had their awesome hits there in the 80s as well. And the last two, probably more personal, UB40. Remember Red Wine?
Oh, of course.
Another one of those songs that people just got tired of because they played it so much. And I just pulled this out because this is arguably my favorite Blue Oyster Cult album. I think it's one that doesn't quite get enough love. But you know, amazing songs like Take Me Away and Shooting Shark, a lot of great stuff off of there. But for my personal 83, that's one of Blue Oyster Cult's best albums. So those are the extras I had kind of laying around after showing all the other ones.
Not bad for just being honorable mentions, man. Those are just goes to show, man. I mean, 83. I mean, and not just 83. We've been doing every year, and here we are, like the fourth one, I think now, if I'm not mistaken. 1983.
I think so.
Yeah, man. Again, what a year, man! What a year. So
good.
Love it. I don't even think I think we missed Talking Heads. I want to say I couldn't find my Talking Heads albums. I'm like, what? I must have put them in the wrong spot or something because I go to my teams. There's no Talking Heads. I think Speaking in Tongues came out in 83.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't find it, so I didn't show it. But yeah, that's another one that was just locked into the CD player in the car, man. When I was not in 83, obviously, but in like 1990 or something. But yeah, man, what a year, dude! What a year!
Another great one. Another absolute great one.
Well, we're going to keep going, man. We're determined to get through the 80s, and who knows what we'll do next time. But yeah, we still got like 6 to go. So these have been fun, man.
I mean, just such a stroll down memory lane. And like you've said at the beginning of most of these videos, it's just always so cool that when we decide to make up the list and we see what we're going to show, and it's just like, that was us in 12 months. That was just
Hard to
12
believe.
months of music.
Yeah, we
It's
just showed,
amazing.
like, with your extra records, we probably showed at least around 24 records, and that's 2
Mhm.
a month right there. I mean, like, every couple of weeks, boom, chugging out another, not just album, but classic albums. So
Banger, yes.
it's crazy. It's crazy. All right,
Good
guys.
stuff,
Well,
man.
yeah, good stuff, guys. Thanks for watching. Also, check out the comment section. Leave a list in there if you got one or one we missed, or in some other idea that you might have. Appreciate everyone watching, and of course, we'll see you on the next one.
Take care, guys.